it's hard to know going in how a guy's going to react, because some guys, they really don't like to wrestle girls, to be completely honest. They don't think it's necessary. They don't really like intergender wrestling, but they're doing it because it's kind of a thing to do.
She is without a doubt one of the strongest performers in all of professional wrestling, from Impact Wrestling, hitting worldwide pay-per-view on Fight TV, with Bound for Glory coming up here on the 7th. You can get your tickets as well at Impact Wrestling, going down in Albany, New York. Jordynne Grace, how are you? Big match coming up here with Masha Slamovich. People have been anticipating this for a while.
Yeah, I've been anticipating it for a while as well, so I'm very excited about this match.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the issues that led to this? Because this isn't just a normal match, because sometimes people have those dream match expectations, one where those two are going to get together. Once Slamovich got to Impact, this was the match immediately people were talking about, was the two of you guys getting together. Was that something you were anticipating as well?
Yeah, it's something that I've been anticipating since she got to Impact, and I think I knew it was going to happen eventually. I just didn't know when. I think it's really cool that it's happening on the biggest pay-per-view of the year, obviously. And I think it's cool that I'm the champion now. I didn't know if I was going to be champion when we wrestled, but I think it's cool that I'm now the champion and she's undefeated. So there's like a different aspect going into the match too. I think the way that they built it was very, very smart. So I'm very excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about your feeling with Impact now. You and I have had this conversation within the last year that the whole business is flipped upside down. The combinations are different. And now you get to be in the ring with somebody like Slamovich, because Impact, as you and I have said, it isn't just this other show. Now it's a destination that people want to go to. How does that feel within the locker room? And then how does that feel now going into Bound for Glory?
It feels good. Impact feels important. I see people in the locker room all the time, I guess they're trying to get jobs, and I think the more it's been known and the more it's been publicized that Impact is like just a great place to be if you love wrestling and, you know, kind of want to be happy and free in your wrestling career. It's a good place to go, and I think a lot of people they gravitate towards that.
Mm-hmm. Now, recently there was an interview you and I did, and you talked about being able to impress Scott D'Amore with a feat of your amazing physical strength, and you got the women to have their own Ultimate X match. Where did this level of I have to show it to you, this isn't just a look thing, where did that I have this otherworldly power within me kind of come into play, where now I got to put it on display? I got to show. You did it with Zicky Dice recently. You tossed a grown man around like he was a toy. When are other examples of you showing off this ability to be a living superhero, basically?
Oh my God. You know, a lot of the things that I do, I don't know that I can do them until I'm in the middle of doing them, to be completely honest with you. There's just some things that I'm just like, you know what? There's no practicing it. So you just kind of have to do it. So I guess one example would be, I had a match with Tasha Steelz maybe a few months ago, and I did a stalling vertical suplex from the second rope. And I've never balanced on anything other than, you know, the solid ground to do a stalling vertical suplex before. So we did that, and it was the first time I ever did that. But that was just one of those things that you kind of have to just go for it and try it. And if it works, that's awesome. And if it doesn't, then that sucks. But you just try again next time.
It's just, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to give it, because that's where it is. It's like, am I strong enough to pull that off? Yeah, I'm going to try it.
Yeah. Got to give it a shot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that it's that jump out of a plane mentality, but you're doing it with your entire body, you know, like I'm going to be the plane and then I'm going to jump out of the plane, you know, that type of thing.
That's just how it is.
Tell me more about Masha Slamovich. What makes her an interesting opponent for you?
Oh man, she's they've been kind of working this match as two of the most intense knockouts going head to head for the first time ever. And I do actually completely agree with that. She's definitely going to be probably the most intense opponent I've ever wrestled before. I know just from watching her matches and from the girls in the back, I know that she hits very, very hard. So that's something that's going to be fun. I had a little taste of that, or a lot of taste of it, when I wrestled Maxie and Paler a couple weeks ago. So I had a good time with that. I'm not used to being thrown around, and I feel like, the smaller I get and the more weight I lose, the easier it is for people to just toss me around, and I'm not used to it. So I think maybe I have to get used to it a little bit. But I'm just excited to wrestle Masha because she's undefeated. We both have a lot to prove going into this match, and it's unofficial, but it's title versus streak, and I feel like that's a really big deal.
There's consequence to it.
Yeah.
Someone's walking away with more than they came into.
Yeah,
Whether
exactly.
it's the bragging rights. I enjoy a match with consequence. Like not just the title. There's a little bit more. There's something else to it, and I just love the storytelling that's going on right now in Impact. That's so much focused on the ring and everything like that. Masha competes for AAW promotion you're aware of. And she recently had a match with Josh Alexander, an incredible match that was very impressive to the point where Josh afterwards had to express how happy he was with the match. Intergender wrestling is kind of a controversial subject, but obviously you were kicking Zicky Dice's butt, a couple weeks ago, and that isn't anything scary for you. Are there competitors in wrestling, male competitors, that you want to get in the ring with and you want to compete for their championships and do all these different things? It's not unheard of in Impact for a female competitor to become the world champion. It's not unheard of. Is that an aspiration you have in the future?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it until it happens eventually. But I really want to be the first person in Impact to win every title. So whoever it is, whether it's Trey Miguel or Ace Austin, whoever has the X Division title, I'd love to wrestle them for it. Josh Alexander obviously has the world title right now. I think that will be a great matchup. I love to wrestle anybody and everybody on the roster, male or female.
Mm-hmm. Is there a different challenge when you have a match with a male competitor yourself? Does that create any different dynamics? Just setting up the match, preparing for the match, anything like that?
100%, because I'll use my matches with Matt Cardona as an example. I was his first ever and probably second and third ever intergender match, like in his entire career. And going into it, I had no idea, because he works in WWE a long time. I had no idea how giving he was going to be in the match, I guess you would say. Like, it's hard to know going in how a guy's going to react, because some guys, they really don't like to wrestle girls, to be completely honest. They don't think it's necessary. They don't really like intergender wrestling, but they're doing it because it's kind of a thing to do. And I mean, it's wrestling, so you kind of have to sometimes. But luckily, going to that match, he was incredible and it was awesome. But there are some instances where you have maybe not like an ego, but a sense of a guy wanting to protect himself, protect like his character, or it doesn't make sense for you to be stronger than me because I'm a man. Even if like that's my whole thing, like they might have something against that. But that's one of the things that I always go into a match, and that's the first thing I'm thinking about. Well, like, what are we going to be able to do? Is he going to let me throw him around? Like that's a big thing that goes into it. And another big thing, I think, especially for people who don't like intergender wrestling, I find that they are more willing to accept intergender wrestling if there's a story. So you're not just going in there and just like immediately trading strikes right away, 50-50. I think people really like a story of, if, well, let's say 90% of the time, the woman is usually the underdog. The woman is,
I think maybe you're the exception.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I wrestled Zicky Dice and we saw how that went, right? But I'd say 90% of the time that's the case. And I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And I don't think a lot of people find it acceptable for a man to just go out and just punch a woman in the face straight away in the first 30 seconds of the match. They probably wouldn't do that to a guy either, right? Because they would wrestle each other first. So I definitely think a story is something that you need to be telling in the ring when you're doing intergender wrestling as well.
Mm-hmm. Coming up, Bound for Glory, big main event. I want your take on it. You have an intimate experience and insight on both these competitors. Josh Alexander, the Impact World Champion, taking on Eddie Edwards. A lot of bitter feelings here. He has the whole Honor No More clique around him and everything like that. And Josh is certainly the valiant fighting champion. I would say the modern day Bret Hart in that regard. Who do you got in this big world title match?
So I have Josh, but I have to say, as a world champion, Josh doesn't have like a lot of friends. And Eddie kind of has that going for him, where he has the entire Honor No More clique surrounding him. He's probably going to have them at ringside. So who knows what's going to happen there. But I believe in Josh. I know that he's he's one of the strongest people on the roster, and he's probably the best male wrestler in my opinion on the roster. So I definitely think he's gonna take it. I don't see him losing the belt anytime soon. He lives and bleeds Impact Wrestling, and I don't see him losing.
Mm-hmm. Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory on worldwide pay-per-view with Fight TV coming up here on the 7th. You can also get your tickets for the event in New York State at impactwrestling.com. If people want to follow you, Jordynne, where do they go? None of those fake accounts, the real accounts. Where do they go?
All of my real accounts have the check mark. You got to look for that. That's the whole thing. But it's at Jordynne Grace on everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, probably Pinterest. I don't know. But Jordynne is spelled Jordynne. Grace is Grace.
Thank you for the spelling. I would be the person that would spell it wrong. I'd be following some phony, and I wouldn't
Happens
know.
all the time.
Don't worry about it. All right, that is Jordynne Grace, Impact Wrestling, coming up here with Bound for Glory. And for everything wrestling, go to sportskeeda.com.
Thanks for having me.